the bit we wanted to chat about was the Stradey Park Hotel. Now, there's a lot of news gone out about the Stradey Park Hotel. It's gone on a lot of channels. GB News have covered
or
it.
the Hostel from Hell.
Well, that's what we call it now, is Stradey.
So pretend that I'm a small child or a puppy who has no idea anything about this.
Yeah. So it's been put on some of the mainstream medias, but it's Stradey Park Hotel and Spa has been taken over by the Home Office, and it is going to be a new migrant hotel in Wales. This has caused a bit of a stink, obviously, you can imagine, in the community, a small community of people that didn't know anything about this. All of a sudden, they found out the politicians had been lying to them for weeks. A big meeting came about, and
did they keep telling them there was going to be a new KFC or something? And then,
well, they kept telling us, and we went in and we spoke to the manager, and they said, no, it's rumours, not happening. You know, just like Penally, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen until it happened. And that's what they do. They try to keep everybody on their backside. But the difference is with this one is that this is a very small town, 400 people. I think it's around 400 people.
Yeah,
and they wanted to put 300 men in this hotel. Now, just to give a bit of a background on the hotel, you can't make it up, can you?
300 men.
Yes.
Not a single woman and child, obviously.
Oh, no.
That's not what happens.
Well, the spin on this has been so controlled from the start. They haven't said it's women and children, but they've said it's families. So obviously families, brothers,
homosexuals.
Uncles. Yeah. And that's exactly what it's going to be.
300 gay men, I'm sure turning up.
Yeah, probably. That's probably what they said at the border anyway.
Yeah.
Persecuted because of my sexuality.
It's 318. That came from the Home Office. Men. That came from the Home Office. And then it told of the countries that came from the Home Office, although the Albanian thing, I think, is out of date. But then, because of the realisation that was going to, that's such a shock, they then dropped that figure, or should I say the politicians locally dropped that figure and called it families. So it's now 214 families.
Yeah. In a community of 400 people, and it's but the hotel, I don't want to dwell too much on the hotel because it's already getting a lot of publicity, and it's not something new anymore. You know, these hotels are popping up everywhere, every town and city. Everybody knows of a hotel close to them, so that's been covered. That's a lot. But what I wanted to bring up is the political machine that has started in that area. It's basically this whole situation has been controlled from the off, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you had the councillors, they all knew that this was happening, and they hid it from the community for, I think it was 4 weeks, wasn't it?
Yep.
The community were furious, and then they got together and they got a meeting. The whole community pretty much went to this meeting in the community centre.
Yeah, just before that, the Plaid Cymru and Labour said, we're in a hole here. We're a nation of sanctuary. We're a county of sanctuary. We have this policy where we disperse people into the community. How do we manage this news? I know what. We'll form a group called the Furnace Action Committee.
But this wasn't the politicians, though.
Nope.
So this is from this. So it's in the, I got it like sort of structured thing, and this meeting went ahead. There was a big meeting, and the action points from this meeting was, right, we need to set up a committee. You've got that guy on the head table up on the stage. We need to set up a committee. The committee was made, and it was completely self-appointed. So instantly, and this is what, 6 weeks ago now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We thought something smells funny here. They're self-appointing the committee. They're not telling anybody who's on the committee. Something going on. So we started having a look into the people on the committee. Now, before we go into that, there was the first thing that came from that meeting was a petition.
Yep.
And that's what should be on the screen now. You've got it there. And the petition went out, and everybody was encouraged not to set up their own. Don't set up your own petition. We'll work one together and we'll put it out as one. So on the face of it, sounds like a good idea. But because we had a sneaking suspicion of what's actually, there's something going on, we looked into it. Now, the petition itself, so you should see the tagline is brilliant. Stop the Home Office using the Stradey Park Hotel to house asylum seekers. So everybody's going to sign that, aren't they? Everybody's going to agree, yes, we don't want that. We're going to sign. Well, yeah, but it's on 5,500 signatures. That's been stagnant now for quite a while, and you'll find out why. Now, we went through this petition, and if you just scroll down slightly, the fourth paragraph there, so everybody has signed this petition is saying, we fully support Carmarthenshire Council's policy model of distributing asylum seekers throughout the wider community, a model which offers so much more for health and well-being. So they've hoodwinked people into 5,500 people into signing a petition to give these priority housing. So now you've got the politicians all saying, see, everybody supports it. Everybody wants to give them a house. Carmarthenshire got 14,000 or 18,000 on the housing list at the moment. Every single person that would be coming in here would take priority.
Including veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. They're sofa surfing. They've been sofa surfing for 2.5 years, 3 years.
What did they do for this country?
Some have committed suicide.
Yeah.
Some have committed suicide, and the people that are going to be housed are the very people that they were at war with.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's true, isn't it? Because this petition, we started shouting about this then, and we said, look, this is political. They're a plant. Every single person on that committee is a plant. Now, the person who chaired the meeting, I won't go into names because I appreciate nobody's going to know who these people are. He is a staunch Labour supporter. He's been a Labour supporter and voter all of his life. He's very friendly with Nia Griffiths, who's the MP for the area, Labour. Very friendly with Lee Waters, who's the Senate member for the area, and Carmarthenshire County Council leader Darren Price. He's very friendly with him as well. So he was able to pull all these people in because they knew this is going to be a sort of political
hot potato.
And it was, because what they wanted to do is make sure they can keep everybody on track of voting Labour and just blame the Tories. And that's what they did, isn't it? That's all they said. The Home Office has picked this, blame the Tories. It's all the Home Office. What they failed to mention, which I will go into actually in a little bit more detail, we've got some stuff to go over first, but the committee itself, we started looking into it. That guy is just one of them. He was also head of the Reach Group, Wales Online, top editor, Evening Post, and he's done journalism for a very long time. So he's got long tentacles in the media as well.
The media and the politicians all in the same bath. Oh.
Yeah. Who would have thought, didn't it? But but we saw it happening, and we called this at the start, and we said he's going to use his contacts to spin a complete false narrative on what's actually going on in the area, because the headlines came out. Well, actually, before that, there's another picture. So Nia Griffiths is the MP for the area. Now, she's there, and photo op Nia, everyone calls her, don't they? Because she loves a photo opportunity. So as soon as she puts it out, the Labour MP signing the petition and pushing people to sign the petition, we knew it was a goal of theirs to make sure this petition was successful. And I'd say it was 5,500 signatures from a village of 400 people. It's pretty good. They've done well.
But that shows the level of
1,100% approval rating.
Yes.
that shows the level of hoodwinking, doesn't it? Because everyone signed it on that first strapline.
Well, you can see again in her, I don't know if this is a tweet or a Facebook post.
Yeah.
But again, I'm here to stop the hotel being used by the Tory government.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fuck her off.
Yeah, absolutely. And what she also did then is, because these politicians, all they care about is themselves. All they care about is their seat and making sure they're elected. So they had to give the lip service, didn't they? They had to pretend like they was doing something. So Nia, photo of Griffiths, then went to Sterling Woodrow, who were the people taking over. So like in England, you've got Circle, who deal with all the hotel contracts. In Wales, we've got Sterling Woodrow, Clear Springs, and places like that. So
I mean, these are I'm sorry to be crude, but corporate traitors of the country, frankly.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Taking money hand over fist from the taxpayer to house people that we know are just all criminals.
Yes.
They broke into the country illegally. They're by definition criminals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But interestingly, she's gone down to London, knocked on the door there, or gone through the door there. But yet the person that was running the operation was in the Stradey Park Hotel on Friday. Where was she? She lives 250 yards, 200 yards down the road.
Nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere.
But this is in London as well, by the way.
Yeah.
So she took a trip. And I wonder if she paid it out of her own pocket. Is this an expenses
We paid
trip?
for that.
Yeah, of course we did. So she went there, and look at it, there she is, and you can tell she means business. She looks very threatening. She got the door half open. Perfect photo op to walk in and have the photo. She couldn't find them. And if we go on to the next picture, there she is again. This is another building. And she was scouring London looking for this man because she wanted to go and give him what for.
So give me another picture of her with like a glass.
Yeah.
Find him.
She's up on one of the rooftops of one with a sniper rifle in.
Just like
magnifying glass.
Yeah. Remember the old Lib Dems? They all used to do that, didn't they? Oh, pointing to the road.
Yeah, they did.
Yes. But that's what you did, Stan, in your election campaign. Point to the pothole, disappointed face. Brilliant.
To be honest, things haven't changed. I mean, now you just do a soy face instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But this was one part. This is just the politicians. Now, you'd expect it from the politicians because they all want them here. They all voted for them to be here. They all want Wales as a nation of sanctuary because these people are going to get the vote and they're going to vote for the people who allowed them in, aren't they? That's just simply what's going to happen until there's a Sharia party, obviously. Then you've got the media. So the media itself, then, just to show you what they did, and this is the part that annoyed me more than anything, is because we were on the ground from day one up until now. We're still here. Stan has actually been staying over there because the people protesting, they're outside the hotel 24 hours a day, every single day.
So this is new, because usually what happens is this gets announced, government moves people in, and there's nothing you can do about it, so shut up.
Yes.
And instead, what's happened here in this tiny town of 300 people is you've got some kind of rebellion going on.
Massive rebellion, absolutely. And the reason for that is community spirit has been destroyed under Welsh Labour. I remember when I used to be able, my next door neighbours were my aunties. You know, that's what they'd say. You know, oh, this is Auntie Marilyn. This is Auntie blah, blah. You could go into your friend's house, just open the door, knock and open. You know, some of the doors would just be open already. You'd go on the street. I'm living now on the street that I grew up on
Sounds
as
like
a child.
Retail.
It does, doesn't it? But I remember it. You know, you'd be walking down a certain street, a street that I've lived on all of my life, and you'd know the people. They'd all stop and have a chat. There's that community spirit. That's gone. You know, that doesn't exist anymore, and everybody's looking out for themselves. And that's what they've got, which is why, even though this is happening in Llanelli, it's been happening in Swansea, Cardiff, Wrexham, all over Wales with no pushback whatsoever. And that's because the community's been destroyed. Here, 400 people, all of them know each other. They may as well all be related. That's how close they are, isn't it? Yeah, well. They may as well all be. They're that close. And they will stand up and they'll fight. But what makes this interesting, and actually, I'll go on to that in a moment because we've got to discuss the hotel after these headlines. But the media and what they did is paint complete false narratives. So to everybody in that area of Furness, Llanelli, they all know the truth. And they all know that what is happening is wrong. They don't agree with it. They don't want them in houses. But then you've got the media who, to everybody outside of Furness, will be putting stuff like this. Yeah.
As if the protest is bringing fear to the community that is protesting.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, on this as well, and I don't know if I'm actually able to do that, but...
Can we take a look at that picture real quick? So, I mean, I've seen some of that. I don't want to spoil it, but they're essentially besieging the hotel.
Yes.
Is the protest.
So the fantastic news is, this part here, so this is where the boundary starts for the hotel. All of this land is privately owned land from the houses that are surrounding that part.
They don't own the one entrance.
They don't own the entrance. It was an inferred access by the landowners while it was a hotel.
Yeah.
So now they can't get
the first house where that hedge is there. That first house, they built the hotel, or their grandparents built the hotel, and then it became just when they sold it, it was just rights of access. Now that it's a hostel, that rights of access have gone. So where that big car park space is, that's where now the marquee is and the encampment.
Yeah, we've got that video as well you sent in, so we could play that shortly. But it is fantastic. But this is just to show what the media have been doing. This is the guy. This is Rob Lloyd, who is the chair of the committee. It's called the Action Committee. They don't join the protest. They don't join the marches. They don't go and see the protesters, the demonstrators. He has not been there, has he? He's been there once or twice when he's organising the march, and it's very controlled, and all they're doing is chanting against the Home Office. But then this guy is the spokesperson, as you can see here. I don't know if it says it right there, but it basically says that this is the guy, this is the spokesperson for the area, and this is who is speaking on behalf of everybody. Except for what he's saying is, again, blame the Tories, keep voting Labour, which is what he's saying. But that's how controlled the media is. And obviously, like I said, he's Wales Online, so he's buddies with all the people in the media. This is the article that came out first. You know, this is the first article I saw regarding the Stradey Park Hotel, and Community unites to support asylum seekers amid plans to house 300 at hotel.
Kind of way of supporting them, isn't it?
Well,
you should be at home.
Yeah, well, that is.
You shouldn't be in Wales.
But I suppose then it's factual, but maybe not the way they wanted to do it. But the simple fact is that is an out-and-out lie. And I spoke to people in Swansea about this, about the Stradey Park Hotel, and they said, yeah, but I've seen the headlines and it's saying that everybody supports it. But it's not true, is it?
No.
Nobody supports it. Nobody in that area is supporting them being there.
Yeah, well, if everybody supported it, why is there an encampment?
Well, yeah. Well,
Why was there 1,000 people on the streets on Monday?
but again,
How much they supported. They camp out, say how much they
yeah. That's it. But again, it's just to show the sort of paint in
the welcoming committee waiting for.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, they've been there actually. The welcome committee. They've been there quite a few times. Confusion over asylum seeker. Hotel says First Minister. So that's Mark Drakeford. He's obviously saying, well, because of all this confusion going on, the Tories are to blame for all this, and it's made the situation worse. The Tories' fault again. It's all the Tories.
Who rule Wales?
In Wales.
In Wales.
So Wales is a nation of sanctuary. And again, I've got some links there to bring up just to show how the Welsh government and MPs and councillors act and vote. But again, he's just blaming the Tories there. Protesters shout abuse and Welsh Lives Matter outside asylum hotels plans. Obviously, that line, Welsh Lives Matter, was seen as a racial slur. The people in Wales.
Only that one, yes.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know what the abuse is because I haven't. The only time I've seen any abuse down there is when people are either being arrested wrongfully or stand up to racism where they're abusing the locals walking past. Yeah. So I haven't seen any abuse. But the Welsh Lives Matter thing apparently is hate speech, and that's what stand up to racism.
Yeah, because Welsh lives don't matter.
Well,
there you are. That's correct speech. Whereas if I say they do matter, that's hate speech.
Yes, yeah. Because what Welsh Lives Matter says.
Well, this is a topsy-turvy word, Callum.
I love the modern world.
But it's the double speak, isn't it?
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. Because what they'll say is, oh, well, you're saying Welsh Lives Matter. So what you're really saying is that their life done. And it's like, no. That's not what anybody's saying. Nobody's saying that at all. We're just saying, look, people here are Welsh. We live in Wales. We live in this area. And surely you should think about us. That's what they're saying, isn't it?
This place is our home.
Yes.
You have illegally broken into. You illegal aliens. Go home.
Yes. Yeah. And that's exactly it, And I think one of the gifts of this area is the simple fact that all these people are Labour voters. All of them. And what they have seen is alien to them. When we've gone down there and said, are you aware this is what Labour do? They're like, no. Really? Yes. No way. And then you show them and then you see in their brains start to get into gear and think, oh my God. It's these sort of actions really expose how dirty the politics is. And the people there have all turned. They've all turned against the Labour Party.
Yeah, and the partnership between them and Plaid Cymru. They're partners in crime in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Next headline there, live updates as tensions simmer at Llanelli Hotel ahead of asylum seeker arrival. So this is, see the picture there, Steve, look.
So this is the siege.
This is just the back entrance.
This is the hole in the hedge.
Yes. So the hole in the hedge is just here. And
want to explain the hole in the hedge? Because usually hotels don't have holes in their hedges.
No, they don't, because usually hotels have entrances and stuff. So
they don't need about 20 police officers to mind the hole in the hedge.
Well, yeah. Well,
Special branch.
Special branch.
Anyway, so do you want to explain the hole?
Yeah, so the front part is all blocked off, like Stan mentioned, gazebos, tents,
massive stones,
marquees, generators, fridges, kettles, food.
Catapults.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's got, hot tar boiling away. But no, it's so that is just non-accessible because it's their land now and the police have to do their job and they have to make sure that no one trespasses on that land, i.e. the Home Office. So they have, the police, you can see, they're in a real sticky situation.
So then we're trying to ruin the local community, but we can't access the hotel to destroy it.
Yes.
What do we do?
Yeah.
So they car a hole in the hedge.
Well, the hole in the hedge was there, and they were starting to use it, but the protesters soon clocked on to what was going on, and they went and blocked it. Now, the owner of Clear Springs, like Stan said, was there on Friday, and when he went in, he didn't get out. So they kept him in. They did say they'd allow staff out and stuff like that, didn't they?
No one leaves.
That's exactly it. Even to the point, see, I don't know if you can see, there's legs on the floor there. So this is, the protest got to there. They all linked up and they all sat down. One of them chaining themselves to a log, apparently. And they weren't moving. And that was the only access that they had to get in or out. It was really funny because, and this is a little bit off the point, but they were ordering takeaways, weren't they? The security staff inside, veteran security staff, private security, ordering takeaways, but the protesters wouldn't let it in.
And they were lovely. It was lovely food.
And it was lovely food. Because then they were
find out.
Well, you wouldn't want to throw food away, would you?
Yeah, it's a waste. There's people starving around the world, so it had to be eaten. But the protesters were there waving at them, eating their Chinese, waving at them, eating their pizzas and stuff. So
Oh, that's
Excellent.
terrible. How could Law and Order break down like that?
Yeah,
I hope it doesn't
yeah.
happen in future.
But it got really interesting with the hole in the hedge, because what they had to do is they had to move them, because they knew that it was the only way in, only way out. The security needed to leave. The guy who now owns this hotel needed to leave. So the police convinced, and unfortunately they did convince the protesters to leave that hole, didn't they?
Yep.
And when they left the hole, I can't say too much about this because there was arrests made. But as soon as they moved away from the hole, they took a lady, just normal ladies, working hard, really cares for the community, and they arrested her for public order. So locking on with the chain. So this is the new act that came in 2 weeks ago to stop Just Stop Oil.
Yep.
Never been used on them. It hasn't been used on them, but they used it on her.
Yeah.
This is actually quite exciting for me from an activist perspective, which is that we, in the non-retarded people of the country, who don't support importing tens of thousands of illegal immigrants for no good reason, we kind of struggled with a method to combat this on a local level, especially directly, because none of the laws are changing. We know none of that's never going to get better in the foreseeable future. Now, this as a method of let's just copy whatever they're doing, the leftists' tools, Just Stop Oil there, and instead chain ourselves or glue ourselves or whatever the hell else, but actually do it for good in the world instead of just being publicly retarded. This is very exciting.
It is very exciting. And I think if they did have a Just Stop Oil banner, they might well have been left alone.
Just stop migrants, or just stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that the marketing's there, the strategy's there. It works, as you can see here. And what can they do about it?
Well, what they've done about it is that they did convince them to move, and it's funny because they actually arrested somebody there for obstructing the road.
Yep. So
then
what they did, the deal was that people can come in and out, but nothing can be passed through. That was the deal, which Dyfed-Powys Police have now broken. Also, that exit and entrance was made.
Entrance, hole in the wall.
Yeah,
was made by the police on a highway. So they're making so there's no planning permission in here. They've cut directly into the road. So you go from their property onto a main road.
And it's a main ambulance route, they said.
And interestingly enough, where that privet edge ends, that family put in for planning permission to drop the curb. And they said, no, it's too dangerous. So that
they can do this.
But the police can do this.
Yeah. But the person, there was, I think, 3 arrests, 2 of them for obstructing the highway, and they arrested him for that. And then instantly, as soon as they arrested him, they reversed their riot van up and obstructed the highway to block the hole. So, it's the policing that we've seen down there has been, I can't think of a word to describe it, but just terrible, isn't it? It's been horrendous because they're in community mode, the police, and they're all smiles and all that. But then as soon as they turn into public order mode and they start getting aggressive with the people, every single person there immediately loses faith.
And do you know what the senior officer said? I mean, it's a word that you've heard before. We are only following orders.
Yeah. Some of them saying they agree with us. We agree with the protesters. We don't want them here. We don't want them in this area at all. But we've got to follow our orders. We've got to do our job. But that's the sad thing. But then just really quickly to get back to the headlines there. So this is the most recent one that came out. And if you want an example of how the media lie, this is perfect. Stradey Park tensions builds the community split ahead of asylum seekers' arrival. Now, the only people who have been there to support them, and I'll scroll down.
Have you ever seen the... Oh, it's them. It's the unwashed.
Yes, but the worst thing about it is that
none of them are local.
They're all from Swansea.
Yeah,
we know them all. They all followed us there. I know them all by first name.
They followed your car.
they do. As soon as we post anywhere, they're there. But this is stand up to racism, and this is who they're saying is the other half of the community that's there to support them. Now,
People
you can
from out of the town.
Yes, absolutely. And this lady works.
This is a bit like saying Gibraltar is divided on whether it should be owned by Britain. Because there's 2 people who voted against the referendum.
Yeah.
Well, Spain does exist.
Yeah.
So Gibraltar's split down the middle.
Entirely.
Yeah. And that's what they're saying correctly is. Now, this day that they chose to take these photos, the video will clear up. So this is what they've shown. This is the protest. There is a handful of people.
Never asked.
But this protest...
Lives matter.
Yeah.
Seems pretty sensible.
Yeah, which means white supremacist,
homemade
racist.
signs, not the stock standard same colours that you see every time.
Yeah. Pink and yellow, sponsored by trade unions and the Labour Party.
That one there.
Yes, there it is. There it is. Well, it's funny because they're still there with their Black Lives Matter signs, you know, and that's why the All Lives Matter and Welsh Lives Matter signs were made, because they're like, why are you saying Black Lives Matter?
They're still walking around.
Same signs, yeah. They're identical signs, which is mad because of the funding they get. Now, we know that they were all bussed in. We have footage of them all getting back on their minibus and then driving back to Swansea, because obviously they don't live there. But the point with this article is the simple fact of how they word it. They paint the picture that half of the town is all for and they want to give them houses and support them, and half is against.
And they actually say, stand up plenethly to this. It was established in 2019, but it's not active because they've all been bussed in. There's no spokesman for plenethly stand up to racism. So the ITVX article is a lie from start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the point is, like I mentioned earlier on, is the full machine and how it's got into gear to try and convince everybody that what's happening isn't happening. It's that old saying, you know, they're trying to convince you that what your eyes are seeing isn't true. And this is exactly it. But I think it's worse than that, because they know that these councillors and these politicians, the MPs and AMs, they do represent bigger areas. It's not just that area. So while all them people think, well, you're lying, they can still rely on the wider area to secure the votes. So that's why they hate us. That's why they absolutely hate us, because we do put it out there what's actually happening. Where are we? Yeah, so this is all what the media have been doing. They've all been saying they're there, they're not happy with the Home Office, they're not happy with Rishi Sunak, that any letters and petitions are going directly to them. MPs are saying, don't contact me anymore, Neil Griffiths, don't contact me anymore, go directly to the Home Office. So if I represent you, don't talk to me, go to them who don't represent you. You know? Yeah, well, and this is it. But
and expenses.
But the media, any good journalist would say, right, okay, Neil, I understand you don't want them in this hotel, but you voted for this. And that's what nobody's mentioning, is that these people, these councillors, these politicians, the MPs, AMs, they've all voted Wales to be a nation of sanctuary, which is doors open, everyone welcome, no questions asked. So how can they say that then they're not happy about this, or how can they complain about this when it's what they've been voting for for as long as I can remember, isn't it? You know. But then there's another link. I don't know if I can get it up on here. There it is. This was less than 20 days, or around about 20 days, or nearly a month ago now, 20th of June. So Welsh Parliament votes against illegal migration bill. So the Welsh Parliament, this is Lee Waters, Mark Drakeford, Labour, and propped up by Plaid Cymru. They actively vote. This is while the news of the Stradey Park Hotel was out in the open as well.
Yep.
And the Welsh government still go and block this. Now, this bill, for anybody that doesn't know, would have prevented anybody that's crossed the channel in a dinghy from ever being able to claim asylum in the UK. Now, that's a good thing, isn't it? You know, especially when you're saying about
sense.
Yeah, it is sense. It is, which is obviously why the Welsh Labour Party voted against it. So, you know, it's clear as day for anybody that wants to look into what's going on. It's all there. You know, none of it is hidden. It's clear as day what these politicians and MP and all of them want. But nobody looks into it. Nobody ever looks into it until something like this happens and it's on your doorstep. But I know, just to finish off, the hotel, I don't know, Stan, you've been there for the last couple of days, so maybe best you fill us in on the last couple of days of the hotel.
Yeah, the activity is, so D-Day was supposed to be Monday. And
today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday, so it's D-Day -2, where the people there have managed to stop any migrants from going into that hotel. Indeed, they still haven't delivered the beds. Dreamland
through the hole in the hedge.
Well,
the three massive lorries from Newcastle got sent away.
They can't even deliver them. So they're circling somewhere until
it's always on the run now.
Yeah.
They're always on the run because, of course, the protesters have got lookouts everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere.
I've never seen anything like this. Honestly,
This is actually fantastic.
Yeah. They know where these people are all the time.
Yeah,
we're getting footage from inside the hotel where there's only the security guards. So, there's some serious work going on in there with the locals, and they aren't taking it.
They've got conversations of security guards bragging about things
inside the hotel,
which will come out later. Inside the hotel, they've got the main protagonist in this. It drives around in a black Range Rover, and you can hear the commentary going, he's up at Locker.
Yeah, he's parked up around this.
He's parked up at Costa Coffee, and he's coming in all the time. It's great. It really is. And then suddenly there'll be a 20-minute warning, and then suddenly people start to turn up and go down to places, or they're walking around to places. It's fantastic.
Very well organised.
It's very well organised.
And this shows, doesn't it? Because what the left do well is they organise. They really do organise well, don't they? And people on our side of the fence have never been organised. They've never been able to organise. It's like, and the thing that makes it difficult is you are working against the police, the media, you're working against all the brands, and you're not funded to do it. That's the big difference. But there's loads of videos on this, but I'm conscious that there's a lot of swearing in some of them. So I didn't put them, but if you do want to see them, go to Twitter, VO Wales Official. They're all on there. But the two that I picked to show are these two. And this is just the one from your footage, the turnout. So this is just to give an idea of
so I'm
the
going
people
to
who are
just
there.
show you the numbers that have turned out. Now, the angle that the ITV took that picture of Stand Up to Racism was
against the real racists
further down the road, and that banner there says Swansea Stand Up to Racism. But they didn't take it from that angle.
No.
Look, all the way around the corner as well.
Our homeless first. Those aren't
And
racist
the most heavily
signs.
guarded hole in Britain is up there.
So that's just to show the amount of people out now. Swansea has got how many people are in Swansea? I can't think. 300,000, something like that, around that, isn't it? And you would not get anywhere near that in Swansea.
No.
Anywhere near. Furness, 400 people in the area in the town, or nearly 1,000 people there in a day.
Yeah.
So it shows the difference and what happens.
This is the thing that is heartwarming to see.
Yeah.
And it reminds you that, yes, this is our country. You just live in it.
Yes.
The people trying to destroy it.
Yeah. But the beauty of this as well is that they're all getting called racist, far-right Nazis. So what that does is that it shows that everybody else has been called racist, far-right Nazis all this time. It makes them think twice. It makes them think, well, hang on a minute. Like, we've spent a lot of time with Stan from Voice of Wales now, and he hasn't wanted to hang anyone.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Hasn't worked for years.
Yeah.
He hasn't put a Ku Klux Klan hat on or anything like that yet.
No. But then
this is what they paint you as. Evil and...
Yeah. But then I know we're pushing it with the time now. But then the last one, this is just the latest up-to-date of the base being built, or the compound in it being built. So if you play the next, play this one.
If anybody thought that this was going to be a short campaign, then they need to think again. These are marquees, and that's the marquee that's being erected. I won't dwell on too many faces, because these are local businesses that have done this, along with, look at the food supplies, the tents, generators, coolers, refrigerators, the lot. It's all coming in, and it's going to be undercover in a big marquee. This is not going to be a short campaign, and the Home Office needs to understand that the people of Llanelli, the people of Furness, are here for the long run.
I mean,
that's the model of resistance.
It is, and it's that community. You've got local businesses bringing them food. They got more food there than they could possibly eat.
Yeah.
They got more.
And this needs to be rolled out.
Yes.
This needs to be rolled out across the United Kingdom. It absolutely does. People are now at the breaking point, and they need now to act. And if they act within the law, it's called belligerence. It's called the buggeration factor, and it's to slow them down. If they're delivering stuff, step in front of it and slowly walk down the road.
Completely legal.
Make a journey that's 2 seconds, 2 hours. That's what you do. And you saw them when he had to deliver a bag and people surrounded his car. That's what you do. You don't break the law. You don't swear. You don't physically try and do anything. You just slow everything down.
Well, the security guards are going to be slowed down, aren't they? Because I think their tyres have been let down as well. They haven't been slashed, just let down.
No, I think that was the heat.
Yeah, well, it was the heat. Of course it was the heat. That's what I mean. They weren't slashed, they just went down.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Contemplation series, this episode on when does something become a vice. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.